tech in Europe, and they're not 5 decades out, they're maybe 2 decades out
Okay.
in their planning.
Okay. That's a power line that goes from Africa or Spain north?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
But the thing is, if you were talking about baseload, that's the exact point. So if you have a local infrastructure, like would say only like the study, for instance, on the United Kingdom, if you would just all use the energy resources over there, you don't make it, then you have to go to things like nuclear energy or coal energy. At the present time, if you have the same energy consumption as today, that's what you have to do. So I think there is no, if you want to really go renewable, you really have to invest massively in the infrastructure, because the problem is also electricity, the storage of electricity. It's a non-equilibrium effect. Electricity decays over time when you have it in a capacity. So you have to put it where you can, and that means you have to transmit it over power lines. But I personally, it's expensive. Everything is expensive. All these technologies are expensive. And so if you don't do it, I think you either have to continue the way you are going now, or you have to go to alternatives like nuclear energy. That's it, I think. Efficiency, okay, but with efficiency, you're not going to make it. Efficiency is low. You can. It's a low, I would say, low-hanging fruit, but it will not be enough, I think. There has been that physicist David McKay who has done the math about it, and that convinced me actually.
I want to say something about the feed-in tariffs in Germany, which I think is the most effective policies for renewable energy. And the idea there is that homeowners and farmers and business people who invest in renewable energy will get from the utility companies enough money for every kilowatt hour coming out of this facility that the return on investment is not huge, but is something like 10% per year. And 10% per year is exactly the same return of investment that our utility companies, who are regulated by the state, because they're monopolies, but they're regulated and they are allowed to have 10% per year. So this gives those 10% per year to distributed power providers. And this led to a huge increase, huge investment in those things. Investment which does not come from tax money, but which comes from people, instead of buying a flat screen TV, they buy panels on their roof because they know this will give them for their retirement 100 euros per year, per month or something like that. And so it generates it generates this investment. It generates interest in this. It involves the population so that they know about energy issues. And another part of that regulation is that you are guaranteed your electricity rate, which may be 50 for solar panels and maybe 50 cents per kilowatt hour. You are guaranteed this for 20 years so that you can pay off your investment in the solar panels. But if you wait every year and start with it next year, you will only get 46 cents per kilowatt hour. The year after that, only 43 or so. So there is this digression in there, which forces the providers of the solar panels to become more and more efficient, so that they can sell those solar panels also next year and the year after. So it pushes the competition not to the suppliers of energy, but to the suppliers of equipment for energy. And this, I think this is a very smart way of doing it. It uses the market and the ingenuity of entrepreneurs and everything in a way which makes social sense. So it is capitalism, and it also, you could say, it promotes petty ownership and stuff like that, small business mindedness, but it uses those markets, it subordinates those markets to a bigger environmental vision. And I think this is what we're needing here right now in the United States. The policy makers don't want to subordinate the market to some bigger vision, but they want the market itself to be the ultimate determinator, and that's not possible. Okay, maybe back there, yes.
I just want to speak against the idea of nuclear power as part of the answer here. I think it's profoundly immoral to burden future generations with nuclear waste, which we don't know what to do with. I've heard vague talk about recycling nuclear waste and reducing it. I've never heard any specifics on it. I think that's faith-based physics, which I don't have a lot of faith in. Also, I think we really have to look seriously at the carbon footprint of American militarism. We have military bases, something like over 700 scattered around the world. I can't even imagine what the carbon footprint of Obama's wars are in Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan, and now he's expanding it into Pakistan and Yemen. So I think people who are serious about the carbon issue really have to become serious anti-militarists as well.
Yay.
What's the solution? What's your solution?
Well, I think the tremendous amount of energy is just wasted in this country. And I think that needs to be addressed. And I think that militarism is part of that wastage.
Is it possible, politically and socially, possible to convince, the 400 million people in this country to reduce, become that efficient, that you capture all of that? Is it possible?
Well,
Yes.
I don't think it is. I disagree. I don't think it's possible.
But I think it's our job is to change political reality. I think it's not our job to try to force physics to fit political reality. I think we need to change political reality to match physics.
It's just not going to happen. It just won't. I mean, if it were going to happen, it would have happened. It would have happened already.
Okay, you're in the front, but we have some back there too.
Nuclear power is the solution to a lot of our problems. And it can, but the thing is, we've got to start like tomorrow, building the first new plant, using the sodium fast reactor technology that we had one back in 1994, ready to pull the plug out of an existing nuclear power plant and plug into this new reactor. And it's still in existence, it's still workable, and nobody, Bill Clinton shut it down on the verge of actually making the connection. Because its energy committee got together, closed door, decided what the energy policy was going to be for his administration, okay? And it has never been revived. They had the same people going to Cheney's energy committee, closed door, secret committee, nobody knows how they decided that, but they decided not to pursue that any further. The thing is, they actually do use that kind of reactor to recycle waste. The same thing they're trying to bring it in the depleted uranium in here to Utah. If we start that plant, we can stop all of this business about shuffling that waste around. Because we know it may take like you say, a long time to build one, but not if we really concentrate our efforts. We could cut down the number of years to build new plants, but as each one was built, we get a better momentum flowing. But the thing is, get it stopped, this shuffling of the waste around. The horrible part is that while we're arguing about accepting foreign waste over here,